G2 Customs?
Yeah, that'll be a quick one.
Welcome to G2 Customs.
Yeah, well, all right. Actually, I'll probably just let you take that off with the G2 Customs.
Okay. So just like some general R&D type stuff. I don't want to give away too terribly much stuff.
Enough
But-
to make it spicy.
Yeah, so like custom airsoft stuff sucks.
Yeah.
Like it all looks homemade, it all looks like bad. Like there's some cool 3D printed kits and stuff out there, but for the most part I think unless you have a lot of time or like you're putting actual effort into it, it just looks like garbage. So kind of what we want to try and get into, obviously we already do the Cerakoting for the paint jobs, but just kind of ramping that up to an 11 with, some other body kits possibly, and
Dude, that's like welded on.
wow, some other body kits, some cooler paint jobs, just some stuff that I think would be well received in the community. Maybe not necessarily for all your Milsim guys, but I definitely think the general community would enjoy it. And, some other real steel counterparts that maybe aren't sold out there right now. Just some kits with that, but making it high quality, not crap. Because if it's garbage, well, we're just going to throw it in the dumpster. We're not going to sell it. We're not going to promote it. So we just want to do stuff that's actually good. If there's stuff out there I think that, the community wants, that the community likes and wants us to look into it, then it's something that we could definitely probably do. Obviously, you can already hire Seven to kind of 3D print some stuff for you. But, with the G2 custom stuff, just kind of some of these extra paint jobs, these more involved R&D phases for like gun kits and stuff like that, I think are something that the community will really like. Me personally, I would like. Working on some stuff actually right now with modeling some things in
Yeah, because we were talking
design
about
software.
3D printing and stuff like that. So you got basically FDM and resin. Resin's always got issues with layer lines. Whenever it breaks or whatever, if it gets too hot, it can warp and all that stuff. Resin printing, you've got issues with it still being able to kind of overheat and warp. They're not really good for long-term stresses, stuff like that. Not so much with the whole heating warp stuff, but it's more like long-term stretch. So like we got the LMG, his LMG.
Yeah, his PKM.
Yeah, it's that there. I reprinted the whole stock and everything for it, and I even used the impact-resistant resin. It's called Tough Resin, and like it just bends over time, and eventually it'll just snap. It's crazy. So we don't feel like the 3D printing stuff. I think is like really good for just prototyping, making sure measurements are good, make sure things fit right, that you got all the right components and stuff. But we're going to take it up another step from there. And we'll probably leave that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd say keep that a secret for now.
Well, I think even 3D printing too, because as a noob coming in 3D printing, I was like, oh man, this is sick. Like these things are awesome. Like this seems really rigid, but at the end of the day, it's still plastic that we are.
It's not a hard plastic.
Well, yeah, it's not a hard plastic. It's not molded per se. So it's like, yes, there are plastic parts in airsoft and even in real steel, but a 3D printed piece is like way down here as far as like durability, and we're replacing or attempting to replace a stock, like something that takes a lot of abuse and things, with something that can't handle that abuse. And so in my head I was like, oh, this is awesome, this is gonna be so cool, we can make so many cool things. But then in reality it's like, this is really good for like game boards and like model airplanes and like that hobby community.
If you baby it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But you're going to be out there playing airsoft. You're going to fall on it. You're going to
That's another thing.
do whatever, nick it.
People want to take and 3D print everything, and that's all they want to use. And so, my philosophy on it is incorporate other materials in with it to make the structure more durable, more rigid in certain areas.
But then you only increase
flexible
the cost.
in other areas. I think there's ways
Because then you
to
hit
decrease.
well, there's a tipping point. It's like, okay, well, do I order the real or the Amazon equivalent, or do I 3D print it? And it's like, well, there's a tipping point of cost and time, effort versus like, oh, buy, comes to my house 24 hours later.
See, and that's another thing.
I think that's where we're going to come in. It's like it's a little bit better than 3D printing, but it's not as costly as like the real thing. So, but it's going to have the really good durability.
Yeah, and like you see a lot of this stuff as well. Like even some of these 3D printed kits, like SRU, they do some interesting 3D printed kits. They're cool. My problem with them is like they're all 3D printed in sections. So you can see the section lines, you can see some of the stuff on that. Durability, yeah, they might have a little bit of decent durability on them. I think they kind of look goofy personally, but that's kind of what I want to get away from and do some different stuff is, not fully 3D printed, incorporating other materials in it to give a good normal product and not charge $300 for a stupid kit that you're going to play airsoft with. Not everybody has $300 to throw around. You might have $100 to throw around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it can be cost effective for what you're looking for around $100, $150, I'd rather spend that than spend $300 on something that looks cheap.
Well, and you and I would talk even before we started of like, I'm not a big fan of the fantasy stuff.
Right.
I feel like a lot of 3D printed stuff is the fantasy stuff. Now, I am getting tipping slightly into that, but I mean, that's for like a very specific airsoft
Bullpup
event that I would
scars
play.
look stupid. I'm just going to say it right now.
Yes. And so do scars when you replace it with the M4 stock instead of the UGG boot stock. Stop doing that. But I think that the fantasy stuff just is like, that's for a very specific genre. But I think if we could replicate something you said, some things that are real that
Right.
just aren't attainable in the market, or they're so
There's-
expensive that you can't buy them, I think that's a niche.
Some of the stuff that I'm currently working on is obtainable. You have to buy it and kind of have it shipped through customs or do some goofy
Well, it's just
stuff.
hard.
But it's just not good quality replicas. And I don't exactly want us to do like full replicas on some of that stuff. It kind of is going to have its own G2 spin on it. But there's definitely ways to improve what is already out there or what isn't out there. So.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of the general gist of the G2 custom stuff. Obviously, paint jobs are current right now. So, I mean, if you want a Cerakoted paint job, we already do that.
Yeah, we do the Cerakoting, 3D printing, prototyping, CAD work.
And that, and then obviously building the AEG itself or HPA. If you guys want a custom thing built, like we obviously offer those teching
conversion
services
kits
already.
and stuff.
Yeah, our teching stuff, I guess with the community, our teching prices have been on the cheaper side, kind of doing a lot of just general stuff.
They're going to go up in price.
We are going to have to go up on our prices on some of our teching.
Mostly the
tech
AEG
work.
stuff.
Obviously, we'll help you guys with, if you got just a general question about something. But like for the general work on stuff, it's going to have to go up so that we can, actually do it effectively for you guys. So.
Since Darren or Blooper quit, he has to do the toxic waste,
Just my
which honestly might be worse
Okay.
because it's gonna last significantly longer.
And it's that small.
Yeah, they're just
banana
warheads.
blueberry. I hate
You ever had
bananas.
warheads back in the day?
Oh, yeah, I have warheads with those.
hate-
Those look smaller.
I hate bananas.
Economy.
Shrinkflation.
Yeah, shrinkflation. And the nicotine pouch. Just stick it right here. Just suck on it. That'd suck.
Right there next to my grape.
Is it sour?
No.
I remember them back in the day. Like as soon as you put it in your mouth, it was like, ooh.
I'll try one.
This isn't sour at all.
Yeah, so one other thing I
Nuclear fusion. Which one? Did
right.
they all say that?
Yeah, nuclear fusion raspberry.
Pineapple. Ugh.
Just one thing I want to add with the whole G2 Customs thing is we're going to actually build custom guns and have them displayed, replicas, and have them displayed in the shop for you to just buy. We think it's going to show you our capabilities and get more people interested in them and hopefully sell a few more so we can earn more money for the film. Instead of waiting for people to come to us for custom stuff, it'll just be there ready so you can just purchase it and go on. No waiting on us to get anything done at that point.
And I think we want to try and be kind of particular about it. Like, what are the stuff that's moving? So, I mean, if there's something that you don't see that we're developing or have out there for sale, obviously you can let us know. But a lot of work goes into the development of some of this. So,